Hello everyone, it's me, Max23, and welcome back to the Final Fantasy VI T Edition. So sit back and enjoy. Alright guys, we are still in the EX patch for the Final Fantasy VI T Edition, and there's only one final hurdle left. And it is the Tyrant, also known as Emperor Mateus from Final Fantasy II. And oh boy guys, Emperor. Emperor continues to be an absolutely devastating and formidable foe. He has a lot of strong moves, a lot of nasty statuses that he can inflict on us, and generally Emperor is just incredibly strong, much stronger than anything we have faced before in this EX patch. And because of this, we will do things a little bit differently than usually, because I need to make a confession, I already did beat him, so I actually managed to defeat him. I did do that off-screen, I did some attempts off-screen, I did try certain stuff, and I found a solution to how to overcome him, and what I will do now is I will do all of this post-commentary, so we will go through the fight, I will watch it again basically, and I will add my commentary to it, and then we can see how we defeat Emperor and how I did it and what I did and what was the decisive clue or decisive idea there that allowed me to ultimately overcome him. But yeah, I guess we don't need to waste more time, let's just head straight into the battle and I will show you what I did here. I think it was good to do it like that because I needed it some time to concentrate myself, and not talking does actually help a lot. So yeah, let me show you what I have done. Close your eyes and focus your mind. Okay guys, and there we are. Welcome to the attempt where I beat Emperor Mateus once and for all. Of course, the first phase never was really the problem. As always, I start the fight with Vanish, and I immediately switch my equipment on Gao. I will also change it on Terra, but not right now because I partially forgot about that. I will realize that once I cast Angel Feathers here because my healing is not up to my usual standard. Preparation wise, like everything was basically the same, with like one small change I did, and that is I switched Phantom on Gao for Ashura. Because I noticed Phantom was always something I wanted to have for the first phase here, but like I said, the first phase never really is the issue in this fight, it's always the second phase with Disaster and everything. So I thought, yeah, okay, swap Phantom, that makes the first phase more annoying, but ultimately I need more like stuff for the second phase. But yeah, you can see what we want to do here, of course. Gao works on shaving off Emperor's MP. And that's, of course, the strategy for both phases. Once you can get rid of the MP Emperor has, it's basically a free win. And that was exactly what I was aiming for. And you can also already see that Ashura is working here, says got revived with Autolife. The sad thing about Autolife, of course, is always that I cannot really tell whether or not the character has it at the moment or not, because there's no visual indication for it. But occasionally that works out pretty well. Also, Gao was berserked by Quasar that Emperor used in the beginning, and because of that, Gao chose a different rage than I want him to use. I of course still want to use the Nighthawk rage with Gao, because then he can use Fatality Claw being the like special attack with the highest normal attack multiplier. So that's why what I want here, because then he can use Fatality Claw 4 times in a row with Offering and Merit Award, and that shaves away Emperor's MP fairly quickly. But yeah, of course what I need to do right now is I need to find like an opening. I need to cure Gao's Rage, which is easier said than done, because I need to time it properly. Because when I cast Heal Horn with Celis, while Gao currently has a filled ATB bar, he will use... He will get cured of his Rage, but once he uses the next attack, he gets the Rage again, which is pretty weird, but that's how it works. Yeah, luckily Gao dies here, which allows me to, of course, get rid of everything that was plaguing Gao here. It's not the smoothest way to do things. Also here I'm realizing that I still need a Wizard Rod on Terra. And once again, Autolife doing a great job here, reviving Go-Go. But yeah, once I get in a rhythm here, I make short work of the first phase's MP. Like, basically the only thing that is dangerous about this phase here is like Rock Slide and like some occasional shenanigans that happens with Quasar. Like nothing else really. And of course you need to be a little bit careful with what you do, because Emperor here in the first phase has like permanent runic, so that's something you need to look out for. Actually not sure why I was casting Heal Horn here. I think that might have been something before Go died, so yeah. But here we go, Fatality Claw, 2500 MP damage roughly with all hits, pretty nice. That's of course what you want to see. I think 4 of those would be enough to completely eradicate the first phase's MP here. There we go, Rock Slide. Rock Slide is obviously the most annoying one. Rock Slide also will plague you after you drain his MP, because Rock Slide does not consume MP, because it is a dance move from Mok originally, and dances do not consume MP. Now you can see the strategy here. I want to heal the party either with Seraph or revive them with Phoenix Stone and X Potion, so that they have full HP, can maybe survive a hit, and of course don't die on me. Domination is always an annoying counter. He does not always counter with Domination, which is interesting. Like only occasionally. I couldn't really figure out when he does counter and when he doesn't. But like you should assume that he does counter with Domination. And Domination on Go is pretty nasty, because not only deals it pretty high damage, it also inflicts Confuse on him. That's usually why I want to have a Golem up, but I was busy casting Magic Hammer with Go-Go. Also Go-Go died a bunch of times. And of course I also want to apply Force Field. I think we already did see that this phase is out of MP, which is of course good. He kills Go, which is actually fine by me, because I want for him to get out of his rage at this stage once MP is depleted. Because then I can, first of all, make Go can prevent Go from attacking and getting Domination counters, and secondly I can have him ready for when I actually need him. But still working on Force Field. I didn't really pay attention, like the amount of Force Fields I already did cast. I think if it is Ice, it's the 5th one from what I can recall. But yeah, of course I want to disable every element here, because that helps me in the following phase. Because the Heaven Emperor does actually have some elemental moves that will just interrupt me. They are not particularly super dangerous, but I really don't need the extra damage on my party. But yeah, currently he doesn't have MP. I'm using the time here and do not attack because I want to cast Golem with Go-Go when I start attacking, and before I can do that I want to have all my force fields up. Domination, there we go. Go-Go gets confused again, which is nasty. He also casts... he still casts Ashura, yeah, nice, okay. You can also see that a lot of my characters have the Blink status. That is also something that is pretty nice. And to be honest, that's also actually the status I wanted to get most of the time from Queen's Aegis here, from Ashura. Because that is another countermeasure against Emperor's physical attacks, which includes Domination and also later on Dreary Cell, and all of which are particularly dangerous, especially Dreary Cell later on. I don't think it will become like incredibly important in the Blink status, but it like did prevent like one Dreary Cell here and there, at least one Domination here and there in this phase, so that was pretty nice. I think Autolife actually does help occasionally a little bit, reviving a character so that that character can get healed immediately with a Mega Elixir or Seraph. Okay, I think that's the last force field, immune to water. Like usual, I will cast it one more time, because I didn't really count how many times I casted it. I think you need to cast it 8 times to disable all elements. I think there are 8 elements in the game. Fire, ice, thunder, water, wind, earth, light, dark. I think that should be it. Those should all be all the elements. Or dark being poison. I think that's how it is. Immune to fire, still one more. I think fire is not really needed in this fight. I think he does not use any fire elementals. So you could actually end Force Field earlier if you actually really know what attacks he can use. I was just being safe here, disabling everything he had. You can't really tell how tame he is when he does not have MP, right? Like only the occasional physical domination or rock slide can pose a threat here. Okay, this should be the last Force Field. No, immune to Earth. Okay, never mind. Dragging on longer than I like it to be, but better safe than sorry in this fight, especially in this fight, guys. Gaugo will die from rock slide again. He does not survive that. But he does get revived, which is nice. That saves me like one additional action to use Phoenix down. He also gets the benefit of Queen's Aegis again, which is nice. But, yeah, only Celis and Gaugo, not Gaugo, the other guy with Gau. Only Gau has Image and Celis. Ultimately, Ashura is not extremely mandatory for this fight, but it does help a little, so why not? You can really tell how patiently I was here. Like really just one step at a time, not trying to like work on his HP while I'm still preparing for the next phase. Everything step by step here. I think that's very important in this fight, because otherwise you just simply get overwhelmed. Quasar, not enough MP. Occasional physical, which is strong but not devastating at least. I think at this stage I'm weighing my options here. Normally what I like to do is I like to attack with Gau and Celis specifically. Like Gau gets swaps Soul Saber for Mjolnir, and then just normally attacks without adding, like entering a rage, because I want for him to be controllable. That deals roughly 4000 damage for offering hits. And Celis also attacks normally because she has a chance to proc Ultima. But in this instance I actually decided to go with Meteor instead. Like this attacking with Gau and Celis idea was something I had in fights where I still was using Phantom. And because I don't want to, I don't have the option to apply like a Vanish on my party, I always get countered, so in this instance I wanted to deal more damage on average, so that I don't have to cast Golem as often. Golem only blocks one hit of Emperor usually, but like if I cast Meteor I don't have to cast it as often as I would have if I were just doing normal attacks. Of course, that's then of course the advantage Phantom has with Vanish, because Vanish does persist even after I take a hit. And that way I can use the slower approach, but yeah, here like I said, Meteor to speed things up. Of course Ultima will not work. Ultima just gets absorbed by his runic status he has. Of course what that also means is I need to be a little bit careful with my MP here. Occasionally Celis and Terra need X-Ethers, Gaugo as well. But this makes stuff significantly faster than if I were to do it otherwise. Basically at this stage this phase is just a nuisance. I can't really do much anymore, and it's just like a meatball before the actual fight. You can see it attack, apply Golem again, and rinse and repeat. That's the entire strategy for this fight here. Gau can occasionally heal the girls with X-Ether, which is important, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to cast my stuff here. Of course, the fact that Emperor can still use Flash Rain means that he can still dispel your Vanish, although... Was it? I'm actually not sure. I'm actually not sure if Flash Rain actually does this spell vanish. I think it didn't when I did previous attempts, but who knows. Here's a wasted cure all because I wanted to cure blind on Gao, but he died before that. So instead it's X potion on him. In the meantime, Terra's still working on attacking Emperor. Emperor tries to counter with Meteor, but he does not have MP still. It's so convenient that works. It's a very powerful strategy if you all things considered, just being able to disable the enemy's strongest moves. I actually like it. It's not like super easy to pull off, but it is a viable strategy. It's pretty nice. Here I missed one use of Golem, but Terra does not take that much damage anyways. Gao of course takes significantly more damage from Emperor's physicals because he's also standing in the front row. Look at this, 5,000, and that wasn't even domination. Like Terra took like 2,000 from domination and Gao takes 9,000 or so, which is pretty high in comparison. It also outright kills him. Okay, look at this, 3 hits. I think even 4, nah, only 3, okay. Here domination was prevented by having image status, which is nice. Gao dies again, which means I need to revive him. As always, Phoenix down and then X potion or Seraph. Seraph also works, of course. Using that here because Terra did have some damage already. Never thought Seraph would be such an important Esper, but here we are. And much to my annoyance, another Rock Slide, once again on Gao. And this time I'm actually reacting properly because I wasn't sure if he had auto life. Doesn't matter because he dies again. On the recording I'm watching, I did hear me sigh because of that, which sounds just like me, very nice. But it should also be noted that I that I fully use my resources that I have available here for this fight. This will become much more obvious in the second phase. Like I will basically just dish out Mega Elixirs like there's no tomorrow. Which there actually isn't, because once this guy's done, the entire game is done. So better use my stuff now, right? Yeah, here we go, we are back in the rhythm. Garo casts Golem again. Terra or Celis both probably cast Meteor. Look at this domination, 10k, huh. But Golem is too good. Golem also such a powerful, I almost said GF, but Esper. But yeah, there we go, first phase defeated, how could this be? Okay, now we have some time. I immediately initiate all the stuff I want to start the second phase off, which includes morphing with Terra, casting Mighty Guard with Gao and entering Nighthawk Rage again with Gao after I switch him back to the Soul Saber. Because once again, we need to shave away Emperor's HP, and not HP, MP. And we want to be fast about it. The faster we can do that, the less trouble we have in the second phase. I also want to cast Slow on him. Here we go, Cloudy Heaven is also something he always used at the beginning. This time all my characters block. That's not always the case, sometimes I also got hit by it, but this is actually the perfect outcome. Gao gets resettled immediately, which is annoying because that prevents me from draining MP. But yeah, we slowed Emperor, that's also very important. Yeah, the most important thing I need to do here is to make sure that my characters are completely healed all the time. If I can find the space, I also want to enable Gao to be able to shave away MP. And I also cast Resp here. I had some theories about what Emperor does, and I thought if I cast spells on him, he will do different stuff other than Disaster, which wasn't entirely the case, and I'm not able to maintain that. Like for example, if I cast Magic on him, I always got the feeling that he will counter with Ultima. I already speculated on that several times that some enemies here have counteractions depending on what I do to them. And in this case I thought that if I attack with magic, in this case it was Rasp, that he like changes to a different like attack pattern. Which includes first of all Heartless Angel, what we just saw there, and also Ultima. I still think he does that, I'm still not sure though like how that actually works. But in any case, that did cost me Gao, which is very dangerous actually. Every character that falls here does severely impede my survivability, because I need to have all 4 characters available once he starts using Disaster. And speaking of Disaster, yeah, Disaster of course always the most dangerous and critical move here. I noticed something. I was watching back some previous attempts of mine. Luckily I'm recording all of this, right? But yeah, I did rewatch some attempts of mine, and I did notice a certain pattern Emperor does. Because you can actually kind of predict when he does use Disaster. Because he will always use Freezing Dust, Quake, and then Disaster, which we just saw. So he first of all disables one of your characters, then he uses Quake, which is something that doesn't interest me, and then comes Disaster. And another thing I was like considering, which never really like made click for me, but like suddenly it did. Before he does Disaster, I did use Defend on the characters that were able to defend. And that, as you could saw there, actually reduces the damage from Disaster significantly. So Defend is an absolutely crucial move here that actually allows me to survive the fight here. Otherwise, like Disaster would have killed me again, I think. But yeah, that's also the reason why I want Mighty Guard on my characters. You could see Gao was also defending, but he took significantly more damage from Disaster because he wasn't protected. And of course, Slow in this fight is then also pretty important because it allows me to have the needed time to, first of all, heal my party once I see he uses Freezing Dust, and then also defend after Quake and before he uses Disaster, because those are the important things I need to do before Disaster strikes. And then depending on what happens, I need to replenish my health, or my characters need to revive, and so on and so forth. Enable Go again. But yeah, with that strategy I can take it actually fairly easy. Like Go does not have to be constantly able to attack here. But he needs to do occasionally so, of course. But maintaining my characters at full HP and everything is the most important thing I need to do here. You can also see that I'm still casting Slow on Emperor. That doesn't do anything. I think ultimately it is like this, that Slow persists like the entire time. Like Slow never goes away on Emperor, even though it does on my characters, I think. No, it doesn't actually. So yeah, after a while Slow does not disappear, it will just stay. You can also see that Gao is doing not the best job at shaving away Emperor's MP, because he hasn't used Fatality Claw yet. And I think this form has like 42,000 or so. Also annoying that Gao misses with Magic Hammer. Magic Hammer would also be an amazing way to shave away some MP. But yeah, Gao is actually doing fine, at least we are making progress. Terra and Celes do not have the free time to use Resp on him, because I need them to do other stuff, to heal. There we go, Freezing Dust again, which is my indication again that we need to defend. I can actually defend immediately here, because my party is already fully healed. But you actually have plenty of time between Quake and Disaster. But yeah, knowing this, of course, is like absolutely essential to surviving this fight. Like, Disaster was always the absolute problem move. And I always thought Defend would never do something against Disaster. Because first of all, I still wasn't really sure whether or not it does actually work against magical attacks, which Disaster is. Disaster is a magical attack. And on the other hand, I did already look some stuff up about Emperor's move and things. And it always did say Disaster is like defense ignoring non-splitting damage. So I thought because it ignores defense, it also ignores the actual defend command, which was a misconception. It's more like that defend acts like a secondary like shell or so, like on top of the shell you already have. And yeah, if you do that, you can see that it's actually fairly simple to survive disaster. I think that is also how you would survive other moves like Zero Muse's Big Bang more effectively, and also, what was the other one? Eldonar's Stellar Burst. Like those were also two moves I was always questioning how to survive, but the defense is actually the key here. Right here we see another pretty nice thing that happened. Luck was actually on my side, because Emperor used Quasar, and Quasar of course can inflict random statuses, and I was lucky enough to get Berserk on Gao, which actually helps a lot in shaving away Emperor's MP. And we can also see that Gao is starting to cooperate finally and uses Vitality Claw, which is also pretty nice. Berserk does not do the biggest damage increase, but it does help. Like, it does increase like damage from like 160 like roughly to I think it was 2000, so it's actually a nice increase, not absolutely significant, but it does help, and that's actually the stuff I need for this fight. It's also nice that Gauga was able to survive Flare here, which is good, of course. But here, there we go, another Fatality Claw. And all of a sudden, stuff looks pretty good. Golem protects me from Dreary Cell, that happens occasionally. We really don't care about Emperor using White Wind here, because we just ought to get his MP. Magic Hammer this time works actually, I think. Yeah, and also reveals that we are down to 1000 something, which is a pretty good sign. Because Gogo got a Dreary Cell, I use Unicorn immediately, because I need to have him available. It is always crucial to have Terra Cells and Gogo available. Gao doesn't really matter all that much, as I already explained. He's just there to basically deal damage, but yeah, you can't really deal damage if you can't survive, so that's why I need to take care of Terra Cells and Gogo first. Those three actually ensure my survival. Yeah, this nasty like thunder thing, whatever counter is also pretty annoying. Here we have something annoying. Cells gets frozen. Of course, once again, an indication that he uses Disaster. That of course means that Celis cannot defend right now. I think I still tried anyways, or was it? No, actually not. Celis does not have full ATB. But yeah, Gao keeps slashing away, he cannot defend because he's enraged. He dies anyways. This is actually a pretty terrifying state here right now. Like, damage cannot split across all 4 party members, only across those 3 here. And Celis cannot defend. I already have the Mega Elixir ready. Celis dies. This is probably the most dangerous state I've been in this entire fight. I immediately make sure to survive Celis. Like I said, Celis has priority over Gao, because those are actually the characters that can survive stuff here. Also then reviving Gao with Arise and then Mighty Guard again. Just to make sure that everyone has everything I need. Gao once again gets disabled, could be worse. We get another Quasar, which probably kills him. I'm also panicking enough that I use another Mega Elixir here. Of course, this is a bit annoying because he doesn't get Mighty Guard right now. Could be worse though. He does not really need it, absolutely need it, but it would be convenient to have on him. But yeah, for example, you can see right now that I'm not shaving away any MP from Emperor right now. Once again, I'm much too focused on surviving the fight here. Yeah, I think you could also already see by this point that like defend is absolutely impressive in this fight against Disaster. I never expected that it would do as much as it does here, but it actually does. It actually helps me to like push over the edge and like survive the fight enough to shave away all his MP. And here we can see why Force Field was important, because Thunder Burst would be annoying damage on Gaugo. I think one time it would also just have killed Gaugo, from what we've already seen. Yeah, Gao doing another normal combo again. Not bad, but could be better. And we get Freezing Dust again, this time on Terra. Also not the best thing. I'm defending with Terra here anyways, that's the part where I do that. I defend with Terra anyways, even though she's frozen, because I'm not sure if like the defense state does carry over even in, while being frozen, could be, but who knows. There we go, another Vitality Claw, that's just what we want to see. You can see the damage difference between like Vitality Claw with Berserk and without Berserk. And you can also see that we get a lot of time before he uses Disaster. This is also pretty good that Gao can get another Vitality Claw in. Dreary Cell is annoying, but okay. White Wind and not enough MP. He even skipped his Disaster, kind of. Like he was throwing in White Wind, but there we go, guys. We basically did it at this stage. We depleted all of his MP, now we just need to bring down his HP and take the win for us. You could see, once I'm able to be a little bit more persistent here, have more time to shave away MP and can survive the attacks, it actually does work pretty easily, actually. But yeah, we haven't secured victory yet. I'm taking some precautions here, applying Golem again. Ashura here as well. Because Sky can still use Dreary Cell, and if like all my party members are, I don't know, stopped it, that would also not be pretty good. So there's still some risk of dying here. But yeah, tech-wise I decide to swap over to Ultima for Terra and Celis, because that's, I think, the highest damaging stuff I have available right now. And one thing we can also see that's pretty interesting here, I managed to glitch Terra a little bit. Because for whatever reason, she did run out of Esper form, but she still maintains her Esper form. Not sure what happened there. I'm also not sure if like she still has her magic up from like from her like Esper form, or if that's just a visual glitch and she is actually technically reverted. But I take it for this fight. I think that might be because at some point she was frozen and then she wasn't frozen anymore, and that glitched out the game. I'm also not sure if that's something from the base game. Or also something I just noticed, a Dreary Cell actually does not work, or like an image does not work against Dreary Cell. Dreary Cell in general does have some weird properties. We see that later. Sometimes it also bypasses Golem, which is strange. Like we see that a couple of times on Terra here. But yeah. But yeah, all in all, we pretty much just take the very safe route right now. We always attack only when we have Golem up, and then we make sure to like attack again and play Golem again. Once something like Heartless Angel here happens, we immediately heal without any second concerns, throw a Mega Elixir and be good. Like occasionally we also have to replenish MP on Terra and Celis because they run out of stuff. And Gao as well because he keeps casting Golem. Right, that's also the impressive stuff about Emperor. Even after I depleted all of his MP, I still had to cast so many Ultimars and whatever in order to defeat him. Like, he has an incredible HP pool. I need to stress it again, but Emperor, in comparison to all the other fights I have fought in the EX patch, is so incredibly stronger than anyone. It's not nice. Like, I would say that he is, like, definitely a difficulty spike and not the good kind. Like, figuring this stuff out with Disaster, like, when he does that, like, the signs when he does that, like, we can see right here, Freezing Dust, Quake, and then Disaster will come again. Knowing that is, of course, absolutely key to winning this fight, and the other thing is knowing that Defend actually does do a lot in this fight. Like, another strategy I had in mind was, like, equipping everyone with Dragoon Boots and Jump when Disaster happens. That was the only other thing I could think of. But then I had the, like, sudden idea to use maybe Defend. I should rather say I was seeing the pattern here while I was rewatching some stuff. And then I had the idea, maybe if I defend beforehand, maybe that could work, and then it actually did work, and well, here we are, I was able to do this. But he's so disproportionately strong, Emperor, it's not nice. Incredibly so. Also, in general, I'm not the biggest fan of, like, enemies that have, like, some, like something like this, where you have, like, to, like, see the pattern that he uses, like those 3 moves in a row. I don't think that's like the most appealing thing. I rather have it that like there's a more clear indication that he uses something big rather than just having to see the specific sequence of attacks there. That's something Final Fantasy X also does a lot, which I'm also not the biggest fan of, but hey. Makes me a little bit curious how to figure that out without recording it. I mean, then what you would have to do is like writing down every move and in what order he used it. But that's also not like totally engaging. I would have done stuff differently. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I would do stuff differently if I were designing those encounters. But then again, that's also a little bit Final Fantasy, a little bit of a Final Fantasy staple. There we go, Heartless Angel blocked by everyone. That's what I want to see. Like, those characters also have had their time with Emperor. They want to see him gone now. Yeah, we keep casting Ultima after Ultima. One interesting thing here is Terra does actually normally block the ulti, not the Drury Cell, does manually block the Drury Cell. So that's also possible. Gaugo actually does so frequently at times, but for whatever reason I got the feeling that also like takes away Golem, because once I cast another Ultima, she will get countered by Drury Cell again, and Golem does not intervene, which is strange, but that just happens. Which means I need to cure Terra off, what's it called, a stop. It's also so nasty that there's no way to cure, that there's no way to cure, that there's no way to prevent stop in this. Stop has always been such an incredibly nasty status throughout this playthrough. Just generally pretty strong. Not on the enemies, of course, only on my party. You can really see this keeps dragging on, like he just has an incredibly HP pool. I was never able to discern how much HP he has. I think at one time I did say 150,000 in this phase alone, which seems about right, but I cannot really confirm. And there we go. I thought Golem was still up, and Golem wasn't still up. Like, he was completely gone, for whatever reason. Which means now I have to get rid of Stop again, so that I can keep attacking. Look at all those moves he uses. Like, looking at that, you definitely want to disable ice damage, you want to disable thunder, wind damage. I'm never sure what the thunder burst is. I think it might actually be both, thunder and wind. So better disable lightning and wind element. There was also something else, Quake. Quake, we want to disable the earth element for this phase, and I think those are the three most important elements you want to disable with Force Field here. I guess you can just skip the rest. Holy also sometimes happens. Also, I'm actually toying as Terra here with Fire, which makes Healing Horn here redundant. But hey, anyways, let's go. And there we go, Libra. We do see the following. We see that he's called Mateus, who would have guessed 121, and 532 HP left. He has 0 MP. It is actually 42,000, so that's actually pretty big. I actually want to finish the fight here with Meteor, just giving the EX bosses a taste of their own medicine. But then I realized that he has another form on top of that, so yeah, let's just keep attacking him, I guess. Something happened, I'm actually not sure what happened. I think Drury Cell on Celis. Anyways, I start to cast Golem again. Yeah, because I don't really have like a better choice. Like, Celis is the only one that can cure, you know what, Stop. Can cure Stop. The other ones can't. Yeah, that means I need to cast more Ultima before we can see it through to the end. At this stage I also don't bother anymore with any kind of management, I just throw Mega Elixirs to be done. Like, this is mostly to replenish MP. You can also really see that this takes a long time, like this entire fight. Like, in general I found the duration of the EX bosses to be pretty good. Like, they do take like roughly half an hour per per like fight in my case, I think. Like 30 minutes to 40 minutes. Which I think is a pretty good duration for one of those super bosses to last. Like everything shorter, I don't know, feels too short, and this time gives some room to like to do some improvements, to try out some strategies, to get in some sticky situations, and it has a nice dynamic when it comes to that time. Like if it would just be 5 minutes, I could just maybe like steamroll the bosses without having to like encounter anything of dangerous significance. So it's nice to see that the bosses actually have this length, which I find pretty appropriate. But of course, if like the entire fight only consists of me casting Ultima at this stage, then it's a little bit tedious and long. It would have been more exciting if I were doing my usual stuff with Edgar, for example. But it's a valid strategy, and I want to see this guy gone now. So everything that works, I would just say. But it's nice to see that Emperor is actually a very good fan in Tsushiy, the hack creator. Because otherwise I cannot explain why he is so strong. At this stage I decided to switch to Meteor, because I thought maybe I'm more lucky with Meteor and deal more damage, and also because I want to end it with how the other EX bosses have treated me. So Meteor it is. Especially fitting on Emperor, who uses Disaster, which is actually Meteor Fall or Starfall. Whatever your preferred name for that move is. Not sure why it's called Disaster here. I already did talk about that, but Disaster is also the move of the name of a different move here in this game, which inflicts various statuses, so I was actually confused the first time around I fought him when I saw Disaster. But yeah, Meteor. Occasionally I also get the full 4 Meteor hits, which is pretty nice and fitting for this fight. He's desperately trying to cling on to life, Emperor, but White Wind cannot be cast anymore. There's no turning back now. It's still curious to see that Cells deals more damage with Meteor than Terra does. Then again, still not sure if Terra still maintains her S-bar form or not. Like, it's glitched, it should have been gone by now for a long time. But Terra decides, nah, we take Emperor down the stylish way. So another Meteor. And another Meteor. Meteor is also pretty costly, 220 MP. And there we go, guys. I got him! I got him! Not once, but twice. Go to hell, Emperor! Actually, that's a bad idea. Go to heaven. No, that's also a bad idea. Just go away. I got you. Take this. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, guys. Victory fanfare never felt better. Got him, guys. Got him. And that's how you do it. Oh yeah, baby. So yeah, guys, what should I say? That's how easy it can be. Just recognize some patterns and know the fact that Defend actually is the king in this fight. Haha. Yeah, guys, that's it. That's it. We actually did defeat the entire list and assortment of the EX patch here. We defeated every single one of those guys here. We defeated the Chaotic, the Tyrant, the Spectre, the Fiend, the Darkness, the Mighty Tree, the Hero, the Witch, the Reaper, the Unsent, the Royalty, and the Divine Might. So yeah, we conquered the EX patch. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah, and Emperor, of course, was the crowning achievement of all of this. Incredible. And if you really consider all things, Emperor is not as much RNG as you think. I think I also was a little bit lucky with his Quasars. Quasar could have done some nasty stuff that could have screwed me over. Like, it could have zombified Celis, for example, or like some other nasty stuff. That's like some things that happened to me when I was doing some attempts here off screen. But yeah, all in all, I did manage to defeat him, and I'm pretty relieved that I'm done with this. Good. Yeah, the question now is, what is there left to do? We're basically done, guys. Can you believe it? Emperor was actually the final boss of this entire playthrough. What we want to do now, we want to go back to the normal game. We are done here with the EX patch, there's nothing left for us anymore. Which means we go back to the normal game now, and we will take a look at this gallery we have there, because the gallery actually does unlock stuff once we defeat like each individual boss here. So we should have gotten a picture for Chaos, a picture for Emperor, and so on and so forth. And of course that's something we're gonna take a look at. And there's also a couple of other stuff I want to do, and then we actually conclude this entire thing. One thing, for example, I want to do is I want to enter NGPlus, and I want to take a look at the final achievement that I should hopefully have there then. Also, we should have unlocked an achievement by beating all the bosses here, so that's another thing I want to show off. And yeah, then we are done, guys. So, let's go back to the game and conclude things once and for all. Okay, actually, before I go back to the main game, there are two things I want to try. I'm still in the EX patch here. This is not the base game again. But yeah, in the EX patch, what happens if I enter a new game? Ooh, terror. This game contains bonus content that couldn't fit into the main FF6 T Edition ROM hack. In other words, this game was not designed to be a standalone game. It can't be played from the beginning like normal. To play this game, you'll need to share your FF6 T Edition save file with this game. Okay, we just see the introductions again, yeah. Is there anything else to this? I was curious about this. This is actually more in depth, right? I think it is. Complicated stuff, blah 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 blah. Anyway, see you again in the T Edition. Okay, that's nice, okay, that's actually good. Press the reset. Okay, press the reset button. Okay, so what happens then? The other thing I want to see is what happens if I load one of the other saves here. Yes? Okay, we actually oh, this could be dangerous. Don't worry, guys, I backed up my save file, but yeah, okay. There must be some shenanigans you can do here, right? What happens if I board this? Oh, there must be something weird in this here right now. There must be a reason, because otherwise why would there be a separate EX patch? Okay, I wonder what you can mess up here. But yeah, anyways, that's what happens if you load like a different save file that did not save in the mock-house here. Interesting. Maybe if I enter a fight, the game crashes or so. I think that's the most likely outcome, that if I do anything here, the game crashes. I mean, the world map still seems intact. But hey, okay, that's what happens. I wanted to know that. Okay, see you in the base game then. Not gonna mess around here any longer. But it's nice to know. Alright guys, thank you all for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next episode of the Final Fantasy VI T Edition. Until then, take care and goodbye.